Guys, huddling. It is March 13th, and as I said before, we have some additions to the to this edition. If you have this edition, the Professional Guitarist by Carl Maurice Walwyn, St. Kitts guitarist, February 26th. This is module number 8, so happy practicing, etc. What we want to do quickly is I want to update you with what we've added to this in terms of, remember that we're adding to this as we go along. Every single week we have additions, so that by the end of the year, you'll have a complete book, a complete dossier, a complete syllabus to take you through the year, and at that point you should be able to play any professional gig, stuff that people are paying money for. I won't be competing with you because I have no interest in that. One of the first things that we have I neglected to put in, I saw after, is you need a tab that says Bossa Nova, and that goes in between the swing era and the first Girl from Ipanema. So we have an era that is entitled Swing, remember, and the big band thing. That Bossa Nova tab goes in here before Girl from Ipanema. And then after Girl from Ipanema, you should have Summer Samba, which is so nice. And then you have How Insensitive, then you have Blue Bossa, and then Wave. Right, so those are what you should have. I've also added St. Thomas, which is a calypso-ish Latin type of groove that you want to have. The other things that I have lots of stuff that you need to add, and I'll be getting these photocopies. I'm going down to the business, some business place down here where I get these things copied for you. I don't need the copies, I already have the copies. And what I'm getting copied is the Chan Chan. Let me just make a big note of this. Chan Chan is, the rhythm is a song that I asked Oscar Vasquez to teach me, get me some Cuban rhythm. And remember that this, even though it was done by Buena Vista Social Club, it's Mexican, it is Cuban. So we have that. I have, so we have Chan Chan. If I get a marker here, I can make this more obvious as a heading. I have Girl from Ipanema, which is done by solo guitar. It is arranged for solo guitar. We'll have that. And then of course we have So Nice. I have some alternate chords for Girl from Ipanema, which should interest you. So we have those for Girl from Ipanema. I also have There Will Never Be Another You. I'm going to put this aside. I've added that because in terms of St. Kitts guitarist, I was at the Marriott and I heard, what's his name? Gary Knights. He was playing this. Of course, I would never get the opportunity to play with Gary Knights, and of course, he would never deign to play with me. But because somebody doesn't want to play with you, or because somebody doesn't teach, as he said, or doesn't have time for you, doesn't mean you can't learn. And I'll show you how to learn, even if people who would like to kind of learn from, they're not, it's not kind of on their agenda, they're too busy. Autumn Leaves, we'll have that as well. Have You Met Miss Jones? These are just the lead sheets for those. We'll do all of those so that by next week you should have all of these. I have here the harmonic minor. We spent a lot of time with the melodic minor, but I'm going to do the harmonic minor. I find that's fantastic for blowing over Latin sounded things, Al Di Meola, especially if you want to, be all macho, Latino, machismo with this. I have the established chord types and rhythms, which this is copyrighted 1979. which was given to me by Art de Villiers, who was teaching guitar at Humber. I was actually going to Humber and New York at the same time. So ridiculous. At the same time, I was working at the post office and going to university at U of T. So stupid. Anyway, Art de Villiers, he handed me this, and it had the established chord types. And it has here begin, cha-cha-cha, bossa nova, etc., samba, and it just shows how to play that. So we're going to have this, and also my actual guitar teacher, he's passed away, Peter somebody. He did this triad. I'm going to, very good for fitting in and playing guitar. I'll show you where it is for big band, whatever, but basically it's all triads. Incidentally, there was a time when when Art de Villiers had to do one of my, oh no, it wasn't he was doing it, he was doing audit or whatever, evaluation. And my piano player for that particular stint of my musical education, his dad had died. And so I was the only, it was so frustrating to all the horn players. As the rhythm guitar, the rhythm section didn't have a piano player with it. It was me, a bass player, fretless bass player, and I remember Art de Villiers said, I see you've been listening to a lot of Ed Bickett, and which was true. But of course I thought it to mean, look dude, you're trying to be like Ed Bickett, but it ain't cutting it. I don't know if that's just my take from it. I said, man, I gotta study some more. And that was all he said, but he gave me this to show some established harmonies. This, the melodic minor harmony, I'm going to add this sheet with the major scale harmony. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to focus on this chord here, the F7 plus 11. And the reason that I'm doing that is because in the song, remember when I told you that, what's his name? I saw Gary Knight's playing at the Marriott in the lobby. I never saw him back. That was the first and last time I saw him. So whatever. Maybe he got too busy. I asked him, hey, how much do they pay for a gig like this? Gary Knight's, well, because of who I am, I get a little more. Like, what the fuck does that tell me? Sorry. Like, what kind of information is that? That just means, look, I don't want to talk to you. So I said, okay, bye. So in here, there will never be other you. There it comes back, E flat major, blah, 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 blah. But here, and Gustavo actually has it right, because I copied this from his book. This is in bass notation. Right here, he has the F7, and then in brackets, he has plus 11. In the real book, the little book that I have, it also has that chord, the F7 plus 11, which is the chord which is outlined right here. I have it highlighted in green, it's F7 plus 11. And that is what they call the Lydian dominant chord. And I'm going to, that's important. As a matter of fact, let me just, no, let's not break that. I'll come back, let me put this aside, and as soon as we finish, we're going to go back to it. I'm going to add one note samba to this, and also because we are going to be doing some bossa nova, I'm going to talk about the acoustic kind of classical guitar, but nylon string guitar, which is kind of the bossa nova glue, if you will, that holds it together. So a lot of, even in the first kind of bossa nova things, he didn't really have drums and bass. He had the bossa nova, and then of course Stan Getz took that, knocked this out of the park. Some notes on triads, which we're going to add here, triads. And they said, now looking forward, I'm going to add the chords for Donna Lee, which is something that we have to learn, Donna Lee. Going to add that at the back. Don't have to pay a lot of attention to this, but we're going to come to this. Naima, which is John Coltrane's composition. I think Stevie Wonder's. Was it Stevie Wonder's daughter? Who's named Naima? I think it's Stevie Wonder's daughter. Freddie Freeloader. That's Miles. You Are the Sunshine of My Life. We're going to add that. And then we're going to add extended, what do you call extended lines, so that you can go up and down the fingerboard. I'm going to also add Donna Lee. This is a very, very important instrument, and we're going to learn this. We're going to memorize this, because this is going to be the vocabulary from which we're going to go to bebop. And I have included, I think, the bebop scale, which was taught to me by Howie Spring. I think he's an alumnus of York University as well, I think. And that was when I was going to the Toronto New School of Music. And I have Miles Davis transcription of So What. I've added a blank sheet so that you guys can track some of your own progress and any chords that you come up with, like make notes. So these are all going to be added. All of these sheets are going to be added to this. So by the time that you finish, the one for this week module 12 is going to be about this big, okay? And as well as that, there are a couple of other things that I want to add as well. There is a song, we're going to use Dolphin Dance, Trombone, which is alternating thumb picking technique by, what's his name? Fantastic, whatever, the Chet Atkins, whatever. So we have San. And let's take a quick look at that, if I can, at that thing that I was talking about. So, in the There Will Never Be Another You, right? Do we have this all plugged in? We have this chord here. It's an E, what do you call it? E major. And it's basically, but anyway, in that sequence, it comes to da 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 da. Then there's this chord. But the chord here that is written as F minor. It's actually, instead of this chord, we're going to use this chord. We're going to use this chord, the 7, this chord. And let me see if we can fit that in. But we're going to use the 11. And the scale that we're going to use that is going to be the F minor major 7. Can you guys see that?